Let's take a look at the string char indexes file, and you can see that we're going to be taking a look at character indexes. Strings are strings, they're characters all in a row, but they're also individual characters, as you can see here, and we can treat them as array types, meaning we can reference the elements and change them as we need to. Let's take a peek at what this looks like. By refreshing the page, we can see here that 0 to 9 looks just like an array here, all set up nicely. We'll take a peek at how that's put together. But we can change those values at any point that we want to, just like we would an array. We can see that 4 and 6 are replaced here. So this is really the 5th and the 7th element, but it's element 4 and element 6. They're going to be 10 altogether, from 0 to 9, just like an index. So we can see later on, as we scroll way down here, that we're just referencing it just like an array, like we've seen in the arrays section. Nice and neat to do that. Same thing with these as well, just noting that these are going to be bold with a different class there. But they're just like any other array, quite simple. But they are also individual characters, like I mentioned. It's like having little characters there, and you can reference them. So with characters, you have ASCII characters, for example. You also have Unicode, but within ASCII, we have set number here. Normally, 32 is your space there, which is quite useful for putting a space anytime you want to. And char is just a function that is going to take an integer and return the actual character for that position in the ASCII table. 55 is a 7. So this string here is going to have a space and the number 7 added to it, using the dot there to concatenate those two together, and then we're going to append this to the string because we're using dot equals. And that works very, very similarly to plus equals and minus equals when you're dealing with integers and numeric data. So we can take a look at that and see what that looks like. Right-clicking and refreshing. And then you can see that string is passed out, just like that. Very easy to do that and a great way to work. So if we do it again, you can see here on the bottom that this is using a for loop, and it's going to each of these elements, just like an array, using the string length function to get the length of our string. We're using I is equal to 0 as the starting point. The less than here is less than the total count, which is always 1 less than the last element. So if there's 10 total in the count, then 9 should be your last element if you're just doing it in order from 0 to 9. And then an incrementer here, and then that's going to work nice and neat as you want to. So this has a lot of value. It has a lot of added value that you might not expect from other languages, but it's really built into PHP and exciting to be able to do that. Like I said, things are really based off of the C language. And in regards to languages that are very much into string processing like PHP, you can imagine PHP does a lot of string processing because we're talking about web design and web building and things like that, and just processing text. So the strings have to be deep. They're very important, and it's really great to be able to go through and learn as much about strings as you can.